Welcome to the Stellantis Tech and AI podcast. I'm Dale Jewett, your host, and in this episode, our guest is Fabrizio Martini. He is the CEO and co-founder of Electra Vehicles. Welcome, Fabrizio.
Hello, everyone. Hi, Dale.
Thanks for joining us. This is actually a first for our podcast, Fabrizio. It's the first time we've talked with someone outside of the Stellantis corporate universe. You, as the CEO of Electra Vehicles, is a very interesting company. You're working with Stellantis, and in fact, you're a company that has been part of and awarded our Stellantis Ventures firm. So we obviously think Electra Vehicles has some very, very interesting technology that interests us. I'd love to start with learning a little bit more about you, Fabrizio, and Electra and how it came to be.
Yeah, absolutely. Happy to be one of the first outside the Stellantis network and share a little bit more about myself and Electra. I'm originally from Italy, and I moved to United States about 15 years ago. I told my father I was going to be away for about 1 year. It's been 15 years, so it's still waiting for me to go back. I took my master and PhD at Northeastern University in Boston. Great experience, very hands-on. And then I started to work for the Department of Energy, Department of Defense, and then finally at NASA. I was a principal investigator on a couple of NASA projects for the exploration of Venus and other planets, working on energy storage system and battery packs.
So this
Back
is
in
rocket
2000,
science, right?
kind of on the battery side, yes, but focus on the exploration of the space. That's how I moved to United States and got passionate about energy storage and batteries. And back in 2015, we started Electra Vehicles with a clear mission to accelerate electrification for a more sustainable world, leveraging machine learning and AI technologies that can really make a big difference in any batteries of any chemistries and really improve the performance overall. So Electra is a global B2B software company specializing in developing and licensing machine learning AI-based software and software products to facilitate like a more profitable, efficient, and safe deployments of electric vehicles. Electra is a company that is backed by international investors, including United Ventures, Lifty, Prithvi Ventures, Launchpad, Thai Angels, Club degli Investitori, and of course, strategic investors like Stellantis Ventures and BlackBerry.
Okay. So even though the company's name says Electra Vehicles, you don't actually build cars, right?
You're correct. So we are a purely software-based solution that we leverage machine learning AI techniques in order to enhance and improve battery performance of any vehicles, not only cars, but also delivery trucks, two-wheelers, three-wheelers, commercial vehicles, eVTOL, and more.
Okay. That's interesting because in my understanding, with all the discussion about electrification of mobility and particularly BEVs, batteries are sort of the heart of everything, as I understand it. We care a lot about how much range a battery gives us. We care a lot. People in the colder climates care a lot in the wintertime. What kind of degradation they have when the weather gets really cold. People in the south care about what kind of degradation they may get when it's really hot. And there's a lot of work I know going on these days on a variety of battery chemistries, trying to find a good balance between energy density and weight, and in the end, trying to make regular people feel comfortable that electrification or electricity could replace internal combustion as their primary source of propulsion.
And it's inevitable. It's going to happen for sure. You are correct. The batteries are the core of any electric vehicles. In the past, we had the engines that was the core, and we had the 150 years development on those. But in the last 15, 20 years, we started to see how electrification was needed. It was needed to improve sustainability at this world. So the batteries are the core of any electric vehicles, and we need to focus on a better battery design, analytics, and controls in order to improve the performance. So There are definitely challenges, but technology companies like Electra can really help to solve some of these challenges.
Okay. So I guess probably the first question I want to ask Fabrizio is, how do I get more range out of my battery pack?
Glad that you are referring to range, because range anxiety is one of the major challenges of electric vehicles. 54% of drivers worry about reaching their destination. And there is an average of 8 to 10% error in estimating the range. When you drive an electric vehicle, you have about 8 to 10% error in estimating the range. So definitely range anxiety is an issue, and there are ways to solve that. In particular, Electra propose a solution that really helps to have 1% or less of error. And that's thanks to leveraging artificial intelligence, really creating a battery digital twin of the battery, of course, and leveraging that in order to have a way more accurate estimation of range. So we can remove entirely the range anxiety. But range anxiety is one of the challenges that we face. We face others, including the electric vehicle cost. 59% of the potential buyers are deterred by high cost of electric vehicles. 59% is quite big. And
Mm,
if you think about with electrification, 33% of the total cost of the vehicle is the battery pack. So it's extremely crucial to focus on reducing the cost of the battery pack in order to reduce the overall price of an electric vehicle. And last but not least, after range and the cost, is definitely the maintenance and faults. 55% of the driver are concerned about the maintenance, the security, and the replacement lifespan of the EVs. The average battery life lasts about 7 years, and we have information indication that we need those battery to last way longer, whether it's
mm,
10, 12, or longer, because it's going to be more sustainable, right? So
mm.
there are different ways to solve these issues, including range anxiety, electric vehicle cost, and maintenance and faults. And machine learning AI can really help out there.
Okay. Can you tell me, or how does Electra help me extend the range in my battery? And does it know me, because I may not drive the same as my wife or my neighbor?
Yeah, so Electra brings a very novel solution to this issue. And what we do, we have developed an advanced adaptive cell model. So basically, it's a digital twin of the battery that is an exact replica of the battery that is installed in any vehicle of any chemistries. You refer to multiple chemistries, and Electra provide the chemistry agnostic solution. But the first step is to create the digital twin of the battery. The second step is to collect the data at 360 degrees. What that means? It means that Electra collects data from the battery, but also from the vehicle, the driver, and the environment. So as you mentioned about you and your wife, that most likely drive differently, a different driving style. So Electra Brain, our brain for batteries that we call Eve AI, really capture the battery insights, the vehicle insights, the environment insights, as well as the driver. So we can understand how you drive and how she drives, and provide the unique control system and control solution in order to max the battery performance. This is able to provide you not only a very accurate range, so you know, and your wife knows if you guys are going to reach destination, whether it's pick up your kids at school or reach out the vacation destination or reach out to the office, but also be able to tell you when to charge, as well as which current the battery can take, and also improve the overall performance by pushing the battery boundaries when it's healthy, and avoid that when it's not. So it's a really unique approach. We create a digital twin first of any chemistry. We take data input at 360 degrees, and we leverage neural networks that have been training for the last 7 years in order to feed all this data, this massive amount of data, into these neural networks that can really provide insights on the exact range, when to charge, how to drive, and also provide some feedback loop to the battery management system to improve performance. So it's a very comprehensive solution. We already
Mm-hmm.
tested in a vehicle, and maybe we can talk briefly about it, but
Mm-hmm.
it's working extremely well. We're very proud, and we continue to train the neural networks more and more.
when your model, when your AI collects all this data and does the processing, to me as the driver, am I getting real-time feedback, or does the system need to watch me for a while before it can decide what adjustments to make?
The solution we provide helps to coach the drivers in anticipation to fully autonomous driving, and the solution still works on in that case. But the current solution is called EVI Intelligent Display, and what we do, we provide a precise energy to target destination with 1% or error or less, based on the, as I mentioned, the battery monitoring, driver behavior, weather and condition, and the route, of course, being 100% better than the industry average. and um, and so basically we build the driver confidence with personalized model, as well as we reduce the range anxiety overall. So the vehicle and the algorithm uh, is already starting from 1% error, and then the more you drive, the better it is. It can get lower than 1%, even at the middle of life or end of life, that most of the time are very challenging, as most of the battery engineers know. We know more the better at the beginning of life when we deploy the vehicle, when the vehicle is brand new. As the more the vehicle is used, the less we know about the battery. So this error that for Electra is 1% or less and continue to be 1% or less in any vehicles out there, from the most sold to the least sold, it starts from 2 to 5% error, goes to 8, 10, and we've seen cars with 15, 20% error. 10, 15% error means that you don't know if you're going to reach destination or not. You don't know if
Mm.
you're going to reach the charging system or not. And that's the problem, and Electra has a solution for it.
The 1% error that you talk about, which seems very, very accurate, is that unique to Electra, or is that pretty industry standard right at the moment? I don't know.
It's actually quite unique. We are the first ever company that we have driven an AI-powered vehicle. We actually picked the Fiat 500e, and we install our technology on it in the last
Hmm.
9 to 12 months. And what we have done last June, beginning of June 2024, we were the first one in the world demonstrating a machine learning, artificial intelligence installed at the edge, be able to learn while I was driving, because I actually drove from Turin, Italy, to Paris, France, to London, UK. And
Hmm.
we were able to demonstrate that not only the percentage error was 1% every instances, but continued this 1% or getting better. So the vehicle started to learn how I drive, where I was driving, and the health of the batteries and so on. The industry standard as of now is 8 to 10% error in the estimation of the range. And the range actually error increase over time. So start from an average of 8, 10, then goes up to 15. In certain cases, about 20%. How the OEMs are approaching these are basically oversizing the battery 10, 8, 10, 15% in order to make sure that the range that the driver experience is slightly more, and is able to join destination, reach destination. The issue with that is that the vehicle will cost 10, 15% more, and that's where the adoption gets cut down. So we have estimated with our technology that is called EVI, we can actually increase of 7.8 million of potential new customer only in United States per year. And this is equivalent to 350 billion in revenue only in USA per year. So we
Mm.
need to deploy machine learning AI not only for ChatGPT, that is an amazing tool, but also for battery performance, including all the Stellantis vehicle battery, and that can really enhance the precision of the battery state of charge, state of health, prediction of failure, predictive maintenance, and so on. There are a series of advantages that machine learning AI can bring, and Electra has demonstrated with the first ever driven Fiat 500. It was fun. It was a small vehicle in the street of Europe, but
Uh-huh.
we had great interest. We actually reached Move, one of the
Mm.
conference that we were there with the vehicle. We have a lot of videos on YouTube. I recommend you to check out Electra Vehicles on YouTube and check out some of our stories and shorts.
Interesting. So on your little European trip, were you, because you're using the Electra Vehicles AI, did you find that you were able to go further on a particular day of your journey than you had originally anticipated? Because the system was telling you, hey, you have more range than the car may be reporting to you?
That's exactly correct. So basically, what we have done, me and my co-pilot, we started from Turin, Italy, close to Centro Ricerche Fiat, and we actually
Hmm.
stopped by there to show the team the progress in the vehicle. But we were able to do, 4 to 5 less charges thanks to this technology, and that
Hmm.
means less cost, as well as less time spent on the charging station, and thanks to the precision of the algorithm. So if the algorithm was telling us you have 222 kilometers, or the equivalent in mileage, and we actually had the exact amount. And of course, we stop a few kilometers earlier, but this helped us to reach London faster and
Hmm.
recharge less and spend less money, because we spend a couple of $100 less than what we would spend, as well as the time. And then there is an intrinsic aspect that people might not realize, is that if you charge less, your battery is going to last longer, because vehicles and batteries don't like fast charging and don't
Hmm.
like to be at maximum charge. And so thanks to this technology that we call EVI, Intelligent Display Range Expert, we are able to charge less and even extend the battery life. Of course, in 10 days of trip, we are not probably extend the battery life of 2 weeks or a month. But if you extend this to 5 years, you understand that you can extend the battery life of 1 year or two. So this technology is needed. And again, it's not only for ChatGPT, but it can really improve battery performance of any chemistries, because that's an aspect that we work a lot in over the last 7 years, to be chemistry agnostic. So
Hmm. That's interesting. I think from my own personal experience, and this is an American thing. I think Americans are very comfortable with almost always having a full tank of fuel in their vehicle. And I think particularly when it comes to electric vehicles, there's a comfort and trust factor for American drivers knowing that, hey, my battery is fully charged. I've got room, I've got energy to spare, or something like that. And what you're telling me is we really need to get accustomed to saying, my battery's at 80%, and that's great. I'm really good with that, because it's making my battery last longer.
you're correct. I mean, there is definitely a different driver's behavior. Of course, it's like when we move from horses to driver to cars, there was a big shift, and now we're moving to regular ICE engine to battery powered. There is also another shift. But I can tell you that from my experience, you get used to it. You get used
Hmm.
to to serve the different ways of viewing, and a solution like we provide on the market. We train the driver on how to drive, how fast to go, when to charge, and trust the kilometers or the mileage that you see, but trust that 100%. I was after a couple of days, I was so comfortable to even reach 1 kilometer left in the battery, so on, because I knew that the algorithm was working well. And we've done like several tens of tests, and
Hmm.
the algorithm works extremely well. But the precision of the range is just one feature that we provide. There are many others that improve the design, analytics, and controls.
Does the AI for the battery management, does it have applications to like plug-in hybrid vehicles as well as pure electric vehicles?
In general, our brain for batteries that we call EVI can be applied anywhere there is a battery. The
Hmm.
bigger is the battery pack, the highest is the impact, of course, because we increase the range, the lifetime, the safety, and so on. But we've been working with two-wheelers, three-wheelers, small delivery trucks, passenger cars, sportive vehicles, eVTOLs, as I was mentioning before. Now we have been approached by a couple of robotics companies, these humanoids. So
Right.
in theory, even plug-in hybrids, yeah, there is a battery. This technology can be applied. But we have seen a big trend into full electrification mode. The Q3, the Q2 numbers shows an increase of sales. Q3 seems to be on the rise as well. So we believe the electrification is happening sooner than expected. So we are doubling down on that. Most of our clients, and partners, whether it's an OEM or tier one, are full on electrification, and we help them out with their battery packs.
Hmm. Does it matter what type of vehicle is being electrified? I mean, you mentioned EVTOLs, which I think
Mhm.
are fascinating things, but from the little that I know about them, I mean, they fly short distances and they consume a lot of energy, and then you've got to give them a little bit of time to recharge. I don't know if do they use a different type of battery for that, or are we still using the type of batteries we see in EVs?
It's interesting because I mean, Stellantis has a large investment into Archer, one of the leading eVTOL companies, and of course the battery there it's even more important. The battery performance is critical, and really there you need to have an MLAI layer that can guarantee you, of course, the range, but also
Mhm.
enhance at maximum the performance. So you want to extend the range as much as possible, increase the fast charging, as well as make sure that the battery lasts, as well as potentially understand if there is going to be a failure. So the predictive aspect is something that our algorithm does. So
Hmm.
the fact that we create a digital twin that is an exact replica of the battery, it's a 100% identical and actually
Mhm.
improve over time because the machine learning, that's what it does. We are able to predict failure up to 3 months in advance. And this is extremely crucial if an eVTOL flight 4 to 6 to 7 people from point A to point B. You don't want that eVTOL to have an accident or so because you don't want fatalities. So the prediction aspect there is even more important. The redundancy is important. The performance are important. So yes, they look and use batteries with a little bit extra energy density, power density, because you want higher performance. But all of these companies must have a software stack on top of the hardware, on top of the battery, that guarantee failure free. That basically the software stack can really predict failures, predict shutdown, predict fires or explosions, and so on. And our technology is called EVI adaptive control and fleet analytics that is able to capture a potential failure and bypass it via software update, because that's what
Hmm.
we do. We do edge to cloud and cloud to edge installation of firmware updates. So
Okay. So this is all very interesting stuff, Fabrizio. I'm learning a lot about batteries. What are the big challenges facing you and your team today as you're trying to further develop and make your AI and your software ready for mass adoption?
yeah, so we are facing one of the biggest opportunity in the market that we have seen, and that is linked to one of the biggest challenge, and it is around data. So Electra is not a brand new company. We started about 7 years ago from a NASA project, and since day one, we started to collect data from battery manufacturers, from tier one, from OEM, from national laboratories, university. But lately, in the last 4 or 5 years, we started to have our own laboratories. So we test our own batteries, whether it's lithium NMC, NCA, LFP, LMCO, or even lithium metal and solid state batteries, as well as we started to have our own fleet of vehicles. So we have about more than a dozen of vehicles. Of course, a couple from Stellantis Group, those are amazing, and other from other brands. We're gonna add an eVTOL as well, but we are collecting our own data. So we are able to read the battery information, of course, the driver, the vehicle, and the environment, and collecting data. As of today, Electra has a 1.3 billion data points from these four sources. As I told you, we have a 360 degrees approach. So out of these 1.3 billion, the majority, 70 to 80%, is from batteries directly. But then we have another 30% from drivers, vehicles, and environments. And this is extremely important if you want to have a comprehensive technology, comprehensive solution. So, but the data is something key that a lot of tier one and OEMs and drivers and owners of EVs have. And if you can share and pass through this amount of data sets into a brain, like Electra Brain EVI, you come up with the prediction of failure, extension of the range, extension of the lifetime, and overall battery improvement. So there is a big opportunity, and we are trying to work with great partners like Stellantis, AWS, BlackBerry, and others in order to make that happen. Be able to unlock this massive amount of data, feed them into neural networks that are our brain, and come up with the performance improvement. Big opportunities. We're working on that, so stay tuned for more deployments.
That's very interesting. And it makes me think. So today, Stellantis and our competitors in the automotive industry. I mean, we write software that helps control and our engines function, and we consider that software pretty proprietary. Um, as you were talking about, and I would think going forward, I think most automakers would consider their battery management system to be a proprietary, critical piece of the BEV solution. So when you go and you come to talk to a Stellantis, is it a challenging conversation? Companies like us open to integrating your software into to materials or batteries that we're looking at as a proprietary thing?
Yes, I mean, you're right. It's definitely we spoke about the battery being the core system of any electric vehicles, and the battery management system, the power electronics on top, is also quite important and critical. That being said, the solution that Electra has been working on over the last 7 years are really a technology that can boost and enhance any battery system and any BMS. And a key aspect of Electra is that we've been collecting data and feeding this data into neural networks that have been trained over the last 7 years. And these neural networks have been trained so much that they are so quick to come out with the optimal control. And since we are living an electrification race, all the OEMs at Tier 1 wants to come up with a lower cost vehicle, a higher performance vehicle, a very safe vehicle that um, allows a partnership between OEMs and technology provider. And in this case, I remember when I pitched to Ned Curich a couple of years ago and to Adam Bazzi from Stellantis Ventures, this concept of having a full edge plus cloud, fully integrated with 360 degrees data inputs and fully deployable to a fleet of 14 brands like Stellantis Group is, they really like the idea of boosting the battery and BMS technology that Stellantis has been working on and developing with the cutting edge machine learning AI algorithm. So in my opinion, I agree with you that is very sensitive and delicate technology, but to win this race, we need to partner. We need to partner quickly, integrate quickly, and bring it to market. In fact, what we have decided to do after Stellantis Ventures invest in Electra, we decided to deploy our technology into an actual vehicle and demonstrating that we're able to install at the edge on any kind of chipset, whether from NXP, Texas Instrument, Infineon, Qualcomm, and so on. Connected to the cloud, we selected AWS. AWS is a strong partner of Electra, and be able and demonstrate that we're able to train the algorithm and install the algorithm back to the vehicle in order to improve the performance. So I think a partnership are needed. We want to win this electrification together, and we need great partners like Stellantis, AWS, and many others.
Your software technology can layer on top of our BMS? Do they work together, or does your technology need to be integrated into the BMS?
No, you're right. It can be on top. Of course, Electra offer like several software products from the design of cell, module, and packs to the analytics, be able to read from the vehicle information of the battery and also prevent failure, but as well as provide control strategy on how to bypass that failure and reduce recalls in order to improve via firmware updates, and finally provide the driver some user interface information in order to improve the driving experience. So we actually can work together with Stellantis as well as any producer of battery or BMS solution, because this technology really enhance the previous or the lower level solution, whether it's the BMS or so. So it's really a great combination. The two solutions can hands on hand and really enhance the overall performance. So the ability to work together is very easy and straightforward. We wrote the code hardware agnostic and chemistry agnostic, so it can be deployed into multiple systems. That's why we like the multi-brands approach, the 14 plus brands that Stellantis is under the umbrella. And but yeah, no, the solution go together.
So based on our conversation, battery management seems to be like a hot topic for now and probably in the next couple 3 years. So I moved to ask how tough is or how big is the market these days? Do you have a lot of competitors?
So Electra was one of the first one to start on this. Again, we started 7 years ago. We doubled down on the data collection, the training the neural networks, and of course, in the last couple of years, we have seen companies started popping up. Several companies have been acquired. We can cite AMP acquired by Ford, whether it's MHP acquired by Porsche or Algolion acquired by General Motors. So there are like cases of acquisition integration of this technology. But you're right, the battery and BMS market is growing. It's growing very fast. If I remember correctly, we have a CAGR of 18, 19% by 2030. So we are talking about hundreds of billions of market. And what we have seen is that there is a trend into apply AI-driven BMS, as well as the future will be active and adaptive BMS. So if you take any battery management system out there in production, they are all passive. So that means that great engineers hard code via lookup tables set of parameters that are not able to improve over time. And what we have demonstrated with Electra is that these parameters can improve at the edge, so while you drive, as well as share information with other vehicles of the same model or the same brand, or even of the same group. So we strongly believe that BMS solution will be active and adaptive, and we believe EVI is the most advanced one on the market, demonstrated already at the edge and connected to a cloud while I was driving, right? From Turin to Paris to London. That was a great experience to see AI in action, to see every time I was sitting in the driver position, getting better and better and better. And I felt safe and precise and accurate. So market is big. Market is growing very fast. The next 5 to 10 years is heading to active and adaptive. And once we're going to see the first vehicles with this adaptive BMS, it's going to be tough to go back to the passive ones. It's like the common rail and or the turbo or so. No, these technology are something that we think now it's common use and everybody needs to have that, or at least the certain vehicles. Active and adaptive BMS will be the next big thing. And we are great to partner with a group like Stellantis to demonstrate this technology, make sure it's safe, make sure that to deploy it as quick as possible. Because as we spoke about before, we are in an electrification race. So let's win this race.
Fabrizio, that's a great way to wrap this up. Although I have a strong feeling that your active battery management system would only tell me to back off the throttle if I want to preserve or enhance my battery range. It's never going to ask me to go faster. That's all right.
Not always. I mean, there are some times that the battery feels very in a very good condition in certain temperature ranges when you are far away from fast charging, that you can actually push the batteries more. So it's batteries are very delicate organism, a live organism, and you need to treat them in that way. And that's why we believe an active and adaptive BMS is the way to go. And machine learning and AI really are making a big impact. Not only at ChatGPT with the creation of reviewing emails or creation of images, but really improving a technology that can increase sustainability of electric mode of transportation for the benefit of billions of people. And that's our purpose as a company, really to win this electrification race, make electrification go faster, more sustainable, and safer.
Excellent. Fabrizio Martini, who's CEO and co-founder of Electra Vehicles. Thank you for your time in this fascinating conversation. I'm actually looking forward to someday having a vehicle that'll help me better manage my battery.
Soon. Stay tuned. It will happen.
Fantastic. And thank you for listening to the Stellantis Tech and AI podcast, where we speak with some of the brightest minds in the tech and automotive industries. We invite you to follow Stellantis Tech and AI on LinkedIn and Instagram to join the conversation, stay updated on what's ahead, and be a part of the community exploring the fast lane of technology and AI in the automotive world. We'll see you again soon.